Hey, Anissa Coy here with Firehouse Education and this week's Ask Annissa video column. I want to make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, Firehouse Education, and click that notification bell so you get this and all kinds of other goodies in your email inbox. And be sure that you are subscribed to rnrmagonline.com and get the e-newsletter so that you get this and all kinds of amazing videos as well as articles written by experts in the industry. R&R Mag Online is definitely one of your best resources for free education, training, and information on the latest tools and technologies and processes in restoration. Okay, so today the email that I got is very big with a ton of questions. So I'm going to do this a little differently. I'm going to take each question and read them and then answer them just so I can kind of stay on point with it. So this was sent in to me by Sam. And Sam said, "Good afternoon, Annissa. I had a few questions regarding some of the processes on how to handle contents that are affected by the recent wildfires in Los Angeles and was hoping you would be able to answer them or give me some insight. 1. Pre-boxing cleaning process. When removing contents from the building, should they first be HEPA vacuumed before being boxed, or should they be boxed and wrapped immediately, even if they contain heavy soot?" Okay, so I absolutely am a big proponent of HEPA vacuuming the contents before packing. Now, not necessarily on every item, but especially if you're dealing with a heavy ash or soot situation. Removing some of that on site before you pack is going to be huge and help with your restorability when you get back to your shop. Okay. Second question, unpacking protocol at the warehouse. Once the contents arrive at the warehouse, should they be unpacked inside a dedicated chamber to prevent contamination, or is it standard practice to unpack them in an open warehouse that is cleaned at the end of each day? Okay, so in a proper setup contents processing center, you're okay to unpack those items in your processing center. It should be set up a proper filtration. I run a HEPA air scrubber while I'm doing that unpacking process. And the materials that you use to wrap those items should immediately be put into your, like garbage bags so that you can contain them, wrap them up, and get them out of there. The other thing is that when I'm unpacking in my content processing center, I only unpack what I'm going to clean that day. So I don't want to leave contaminated items overnight in my cleaning room or my processing center. I don't recommend just opening up all your packages in an open warehouse where you have all kinds of other things. It needs to be contained in your processing center, again, with proper air filtration and HEPA air scrubbing going on. You should also obviously be wearing proper PPE, right? So that your team is not getting exposed to all of those contaminants. And then at the end of every single day, the reason I don't want these contaminated items staying in there overnight is because, yes, your center should be properly cleaned and decontaminated so that that is ready for the next day and you're not leaving contaminants in the area. Okay. So the third question that Sam had is this. Cleaning procedures at the warehouse. After unpacking, furniture would typically be cleaned with HEPA vacuuming. Dishes and kitchenware would be soaked and washed in a sink. Small items would be cleaned using a HEPA vacuum and dry sponge. Once all items have been cleaned, should they be placed into a chamber for fogging, or is fogging necessary? Alternatively, should an ozone chamber be used before repacking and returning the items? Okay, so first off, after unpacking the furniture, it would typically be cleaned with a HEPA vacuum. I would absolutely HEPA vacuum the furniture for sure, but that furniture may actually need to be steam cleaned. Okay, so HEPA vacuum may not be the only thing that you do. If it's a leather couch, then you're going to need to use a leather cleaner to be able to clean that couch to properly decontaminate it as well. And some of that furniture might even have wood on it that you may need to use, like a woodcraft or some kind of a mild degrease or wet clean on that part of the furniture. Okay. So the next thing you said, dishes and kitchenware would be soaked and washed in a sink. So I prefer to wash my kitchenware and dishes in an ultrasonic machine. it is going to do a much better and faster, more efficient, thus profitable cleaning of your items than just putting them in a sink and scrubbing them by hand. Now, when you do the ultrasonic processing system, you also are doing a pre-soak in that process, okay? And then your next piece of this was small items would be cleaned using a HEPA vacuum and dry sponge. It depends on the small item. So is it something that is what we call dippable? Can it get wet? Can I use it, put it in the ultrasonic machine? That's what I would prefer to do if I can, because it's a more thorough cleaning and it's faster, okay? More efficient. If it's small items that you need to clean dry method, then absolutely a HEPA vacuuming and using a dry cleaning sponge is what I would recommend. Depending on the item, like book or artwork, that's a dry cleaning method, you might even want to use a art gum eraser, which is another awesome tool to have in your arsenal for cleaning and decontamination. Okay. And then you said once all items have been cleaned, should they be placed in a chamber for fogging, or is fogging necessary? I used to fog in the past. I don't fog anymore. Okay. So I don't do that at all. Alternatively, should an ozone chamber be used before repacking and returning the items? I would say absolutely not. I do not like ozone. Ozone is dangerous. It's very problematic, and it can actually cause secondary odors and damage to certain items. For instance, you cannot ozone an item if it is damp or wet. You will bleach it and cause breakdown of the item. Leather, when you ozone leather, you literally can take years off of the life of the leather. So I don't like ozone. My preferable method for odor removal is hydroxyl. Now, I have a specific hydroxyl I like to use because they're not all the same. And hydroxyl is more of a natural process. It does not damage items. It doesn't harm you. Humans can walk around in it while it's running. It's not going to damage you if you have it properly set up in the proper square footage, okay? And it doesn't cause secondary odor. I find it removes the odor and gives it more like a fresh, new smell instead of a chemical smell, which is what ozone winds up doing, okay? Oh, and also you can hydroxyl an item even when it's wet, which is great. So I set my hydroxyl and I deodorize in my drying chamber. Okay, so your fourth question was handling of mattresses. Given that mattresses were covered with sheeting and bedding, would they still be considered affected by soot and smoke? Should they be disposed of, or is there an effective cleaning process that can restore them? Excellent question. So I still process the mattresses even if the bed's completely made. If the bed is not made, that might be a different story. This is very important in your onboarding process with your homeowner or your client, that you walk through this with them and find out where they're at. The level of contamination obviously matters, and how bad the fire was. And how do they feel? Are they like, listen, I don't care what you do to this mattress, I'm not putting my head on it. I'm not laying on this. People get very sensitive when it comes to their bedding, pillows, and a mattress, okay? Almost as a general rule, I log non-restorable the bed pillows. People are putting their head on it. Most people are not comfortable using them again. They can be restored in something like in a Sporta machine and properly washed. But again, this is important for you to talk to your homeowner in your onboarding process to see where are they at. How are they feeling about it? Was the fire in the bedroom? So ways to handle a mattress, obviously removing all the bedding, was it made, was it not made? That matters. HEPA vacuuming it and then doing a steam cleaning on that mattress. And then I end it with running it through my hydroxyl drying chamber. Okay. All right. So your fifth question, Sam, was cleaning of clothing and bedding. Should homeowners take their clothing and bedding to a specialized facility for professional cleaning, or is it preferable for them to wash these items at home before sending them off site? Thank you for your time and knowledge, Sam. Okay, I do not recommend homeowners to handle their own laundry. And here's why. It's very important that this goes through the correct process to get properly deodorized and decontaminated. If you handle all of the other contents, but they handle their what we call soft goods or their laundry, and it's not done correctly, when everything gets moved back into the house and then they mix all that stuff that they washed in with all the hard contents that you did, and there's still odor, how do you know where the odor's coming from? Is it because they didn't properly handle their soft goods and their laundry items? Or is it because something was not done properly on the hard content? So I don't like to let my homeowners handle the laundry. I prefer to handle all of it myself. So then I would handle either processing it in-house or using a certified company that is used to handling and knows how to properly handle contaminated fire and smoke contaminated soft goods and wash them and deodorize them properly. I do not ozone bedding or clothing either. Again, I only use hydroxyl in a drying chamber to properly deodorize, and it literally will make the clothes smell like new. It's really important, Sam, that you can handle all of these aspects if it's possible, because then your homeowner just has one person to deal with. It's like a one-stop shop. Look, their life's been flipped upside down and they have a lot going on. They don't need anything more to handle than is necessary. Now, if you don't handle the contents in-house, you can sub it out to someone. Okay, but again, make sure that that company is versed and can properly handle these items. Don't just send it down to Susie's Wash and Fold and expect them to come back in the right proper condition. And again, I'm going to say with a caveat, talk to your homeowner in your onboarding process about their bedding. Some people have very strong feelings about that when it's been in a contaminated situation. And again, it's going to matter on the mattress and the bedding. Was the fire in the bedroom? Okay, that could definitely play a big part in how I'm going to handle it or whether I'm going to log it non-restorable. Okay, and of course, taking into account how my homeowner feels about sleeping on that mattress and with that bedding again. So that all being said, bedding and mattresses can totally be restored oftentimes back to a pre-loss safe, decontaminated condition and be just fine. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you, Sam. That was quite the email with lots of great questions, and I appreciate that. I hope that this video will help you in determining that process. And I want to remind you that we do very extensive training with our hands-on class and our online class at firehouseeducation.com, where we show you how to properly not only handle those soft goods and the laundry items, but to determine if they're restorable or non-restorable, how to onboard your client with the proper processes and procedures, and then how to log them, right? Inventory, because you have to inventory everything when you're dealing with an insurance claim and people's contents like that. Okay, awesome. Again, thank you, Sam, so much. I hope this helps you. And don't forget, you guys, if you have a burning question for Annissa, send me an email, Annissa@firehouseeducation.com. In the subject line, put Ask Annissa. And if you do that, I just might feature you on one of my next Ask Annissa video columns.